So, I would like to begin this talk with a personal story. When I was 5, my dad told me he wanted to teach me a game. That sounded like fun. So he brought out a checkerboard and showed me the checkers, and then he told me how it worked. And, you know, you move one square at a time, and when you get to the other side, you get another one on top. And then you can go backwards. And if you jump your opponent's piece, it gets taken off the board. And then he said, when all of your opponent's pieces are taken off the board, you win. And I said, why would you want to do that? And he said, what do you mean? And I said, well, if I lose, I would feel bad. And he said, but you might win. And I said, but then you'd feel bad.
Oh.
Well, he laughed at me, and that was a trauma. But here I was, a 5-year-old, trying to explain unity consciousness to a 30-year-old male football fan. So the concept of competition was completely foreign to me. Let me see where I am here. As I matured, I slowly became to understand competition in the sense of games or sports, but I still don't like it for any other reason. Right now, at this time, we're at the end of a 13,000-year era of toxic competition and separation. And we're gradually entering a new era of compassionate culture, an era of harmony. This is characterized by service to others over service to self, leadership over domination, cooperation rather than competition. But here's the thing, before a lumpy caterpillar transforms into a magnificent butterfly, inside the cocoon it turns into a messy goo. The earth and humanity are in the messy goo stage right now. We're not recognizing that we are in the midst of a transformation to a more compassionate way of life. But here at the Community of Love, we have this. You are safe. You're surrounded by people who love and support you. You are cared about, you are appreciated, and together we are a community. Let's try something, which you prefaced quite beautifully. As you listen, I'd like you to take a slow breath in and let it out even more slowly. And release any tension in your muscles. Now, exhaling more slowly than you inhale allows your body to relax. It's actually a cue that tells your body you are safe. It activates what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. Maybe a lot of you already know that. Try it again. Take a deep breath in and let it out even more slowly while you relax. Feel the love present for you in this room. At one time or another, we've all been taught that visualization coupled with emotion enables manifestation. But do we really comprehend the extent and power of that fact? Neville Goddard stated in one of his books, if we visualize with emotion, the universe has no choice but to deliver. No choice. So I would like to share a brief visualization with you. And as I read this, I'm going to ask you to try to visualize the scenes and try to feel as if you were actually experiencing what I describe. Maybe you've heard this before. This is called Earth Vision. I feel the soft breeze on my face as I watch the children playing in the lush green meadows. I hear the birds singing and the rustling leaves in the wind. The forests and trees grow tall and strong. The animals are thriving. I hear laughter mixed with drumming. Melodies and fragrances mingle in the sweet, fresh air. Traveling at the speed of thought, I notice the creeks and rivers sparkle as the abundant, pure water tumbles over the rocks and pristine, loamy shores. At work and play, people walk contentedly, poised in full knowledge of their eternal nature. The fields and gardens offer plentiful grains, fruits, and vegetables. Wildflowers and herbs grow everywhere. There is more than enough. Nothing is wasted. Living from the heart, at one with all, everyone has a safe home and perfect health. If enough people read this aloud every day with feeling, we would have it, wouldn't we? If enough people within our tiny community read this aloud every day, would our property and maybe our town start to reflect these values? If visualization with emotion creates manifestation and thought creates action, and we say that each one of us has the power to do this, why is our reality, our culture, so confronting, so confused and disharmonic right now? Why don't our desires for harmony manifest more easily? Well, there's a few reasons. Timing is one of them. But also, Jesus said, love thy neighbor as thyself. As thyself. We have not done that. I think it's conspiracy fact that certain powers that were have attempted to keep humanity from becoming more united and more spiritual. Through media, pop music, movies, and the internet, they have done everything they can to create separation, violence, discouragement, and disharmony. And they've been pretty successful. In order for manifestation or creation to take place, one of the conditions is alignment. What do I mean by that? You cannot get to a destination if your right hand wants to go left and your left hand wants to go right. If you've studied heart math or listened to speakers like Joe Dispenza or similar speakers, you know they speak of coherence, specifically coherence of the heart and the mind. Were you here when Greg Braden told us that the heart has 40,000 neurons? The same thing as brain cells. When the heart and the mind are coherent or aligned, manifestation becomes much more recognizable. When all of your energy is aligned, manifestation can become almost effortless. You could check to see if each of your chakras is really aligned with what you think you want. Base chakra. Do you feel safe? Do You have what you need for physical sustenance, like nutritious food, clean water, and a safe and harmonious home. How could you manifest a goal if you feel unsafe? Second chakra. Are your sexuality and your finances well balanced, or do they distract you and keep you from moving forward? Third chakra, the center of will. How clear and passionate are you about what you think you want? The heart, does it feel right? Does the idea make your heart energy expand? And would it be beneficial to all the people it would affect? The throat. Do you speak words that are consistent with who you will be when your goal has become real? Mind. Are your thoughts consistent, or are they bouncing back and forth with pros and cons, or so many ideas that you can't focus on one? How about thoughts like, I'll never get this done? Do they come up? These are just examples of how portions of who you are may be out of alignment with each other and with your goal. So, how do we manage to pull all these parts of ourselves together to become a coherently aligned receptor for what we want? Here's a few ideas. In considering these aspects of ourselves, we might decide to revise the stated goal. We might want to clear up any disharmonic aspects to our current situation. For example, move away from a disharmonic home, or pay some past due obligations, or become more mindful when we're frustrated, like when the printer doesn't work. That's one of my personal triggers. Lack of alignment or coherence contributes to confusion. The busy mind is cluttered with memories of conversations, unrelated new ideas, streams of to-do lists. I should have done this, I should have done that. What do I have to do tomorrow? You can see this endless stream of chatter like a conveyor belt at the airport with the luggage flowing by. If you let it, it will go on forever. I'm sure you've tried meditating and attempted to quiet this. Eckhart Tolle has said, for many, the first step towards spiritual awakening is to realize there is this continuous commentary in their minds. And then they may say, that's interesting. It's a recognition of a different voice in the head. Deepak Chopra and Wayne Dyer have both said, inspiration comes in the gaps between the thoughts. The gaps between the thoughts. Sometime when you complete a sentence or a silent thought, notice there is a gap, a pause, before you go on to the next thought or the next sentence. When we first learned meditation, we were told to focus on a candle or on the breath, feeling the nostrils, or any single object that will keep the mind in the mode of just noticing. Being focused and aware without the chatter. I need that thing. So we're going to try an experiment, if you would. I'm going to ring this chime And I want you to close your eyes and hold up your hand when you cannot hear it anymore. So close your eyes. Ready? Okay, so that's it. You were just in the space of the gap. You were in the place of being aware without thinking, without thoughts. You are in the space of precious silence. This also happens when you encounter a beautiful scene in nature. We might say it's breathtaking, or we might feel an overwhelming sense of awe when we're looking at a waterfall or a mountain or the sunset, or whatever it is that has captured your attention. Maybe you felt sometime when meditating like you're in the void between galaxies, with infinite space in front of you and infinite space behind you and all around. We treasure these moments in that sacred space of nothing but awareness. It may be fleeting, but with practice and by resisting the temptation of an enticing thought, the gap between the thoughts might become longer. Maybe 5 seconds, maybe 3 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. With practice, you realize that you can, to one degree or another, control your thoughts. You can avoid judging and just observe. You can choose your focus. Just be aware, mindfully aware, without judging or describing. When you have thoughts like, "This desk is a mess," you feel agitated. When you're in the place of non-judgmental awareness, you feel calm and detached. This practice is quite beneficial right now, in this time that the earth and humanity feel so chaotic. Apparent conflict, dissension, and disharmony are everywhere. News is confusing at best, with people and institutions offering opinions, polarized opinions, of what took place. Mindfully choosing your focus and staying calm in the storm also helps others who might be comforted by your calmness. In the aware state, we're able to receive inspiration that we might otherwise miss. Inspiration comes in the gaps between the thoughts. Inspiration is the initial spark for creativity. How many musicians, authors, artists, and poets have said, "It just came to me," as if from some outside source. When we're inspired, ideas come in a flash and then just flow. So if you need to solve a problem or want to manifest a desire, like for a new painting or for a harmonious relationship, rather than jumping into random action, maybe the best action is non-action. Non-action, or the gap, might just allow some coincidences to take place, some ideas to come in, like for paintings, poetry, new businesses, and new ways of doing things. The fact is, every time an individual comes up with a new way of doing something, it affects all of humanity. How's that? Well, I'll show you. This is a grid. It's a model of a grid that's 64 miles above where we're sitting right now. It's very real. It's made of energy lines. The military knows it's there. Next page. Every thought, word, and action goes energetically into this grid. Let me illustrate how this works. You've all heard of the 100th monkey phenomenon. Here's another one. A few decades ago, some researchers in Australia did an experiment. They got some volunteers and they gave them a puzzle. And the puzzle is like these ones you've seen that look like a coloring book picture with hidden objects in the picture, like a complex tree full of hidden animals. And the object is to circle the ones you can find. Okay, so the puzzle they gave the volunteers had over 300 hidden objects. And in Australia, the average number that the volunteers saw was less than 30. Next, the researchers put the puzzle on cable TV, only in Australia. They showed the picture and they showed all of the hidden objects. And then they flew to England and they performed the same experiment. This time, the subjects found over 290 on average. Let that sink in. There's also the phenomenon of simultaneous inventions. In 1922, sociologists Ogburn and Thomas discovered 148 examples of simultaneous inventions. Here's a few. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell and Elisha Gray filed for a patent for the telephone on the same day. Charles Darwin and Alfred Wallace came up with the theory of evolution simultaneously. Carl Scheele and Joseph Priestley discovered oxygen at the same time. Isaac Newton and Gottfried Priestley that's the one I just said. Oh, sorry. Isaac Newton and Gottfried Leibniz discovered and developed calculus at the same time. And Orville and Wilbur Wright and Samuel Langley both invented the airplane during the same time. When I was a child, my family knew a third person that invented the airplane. But he hit an air pocket and fell, and he didn't like it, so he tore it up. Once something goes into the grid around the earth, every human has access to these thoughts. Advertising experts know that to sway public opinion, all you need is 3% of the population. This is how the human collective consciousness progresses. Scientists now recognize this as the field. There are other benefits to the state of pure awareness. In a state of agitation, or what we call fight or flight, the body cannot heal itself. In a state of calm, your blood pressure relaxes and healing can take place. In a state of non-judgmental awareness, we're also able to experience the subtleties of life, like the color of the sky or the serenity in the eyes of your friends. To this end, I recently wrote another free-form poem with which I will close. see if you would like to close your eyes and breathe slowly while I read this. It's called The Beauty of Silence. Excuse me. As a calm, let me do this before I try that. As a, and boy, I'm hoarse all of a sudden. That's what you get. As a calm lake reflects the gentle pastels of the morning sunrise, the gentle energy of understanding emanates between us when we are able to be silent together. As the calm of a silent mind soothes the meditating body when the endless chatter stops, so too the healing energy envelops the body in the calm of the thoughtless void. No need for gossip, drama, or strategy. No need for history, for cause and effect, for debate. Just gentle, loving energy. Compassion for all from the heart. From this place of silent beauty comes the oneness of loving connection. I can feel the pulsation of the trees, sap rising and falling, leaves fluttering in the breeze. I relish the sensation of sunshine on my face. With you, I stand close and hear the ocean waves as they unfurl. No need for comment. We sigh together, knowing we connect within this delicious experience. The damp sand squishes between my toes, and I know you feel it too. We know the beauty without speaking. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Susan.